Back with Frankie Corrado. And Frankie, life's all about expectations. The Habs are coming off a fantastic year, overachieving to make the playoffs. But you know that just means the hockey-crazed Montreal fan base will be expecting even more this time around. Can the Habs take another step forward this season?
Yes, the Habs can take a step forward because they've added more skill into their lineup, and that means this group now has a higher ceiling that they can achieve. You know, you talked about it, Jermaine. It was a bit of an overachievement for Montreal last year. A lot of things went well for them. Their penalty kill was really good. They got better defensively as the season went on. They got timely goaltending, and they had a good shooting percentage, which helped put the puck in the net for them. Now, for things to get better, they had to add more skill into the lineup, and they've done that. Having a full season of Ivon Demidov, bringing in someone like Noah Dobson on the back end who's really good at breaking the puck out and facilitating some of that rush game for Montreal, and then adding a player like Zach Bolduc who's just starting his career, really scratching the surface, and had a nice start to his NHL career as a rookie. Like, these are all things that are going to help this team, not to mention the internal improvements of players like Caulfield and Slavkovsky, and potentially getting a full healthy season out of Patrick Laine for the power play. So they have more skill. That means there's a higher ceiling for this group. The only worry I have about the Montreal Canadiens as of right now is who's going to replace the big minutes on the penalty kill that they had last year. David Savard, Yoel Armia, and Christian Dvorak all out the door. They need three prominent pieces to play penalty kill minutes because that was a big strength of their team last year.
And you just mentioned him a little earlier. Habs fans got a quick look at Demidov. 7 total games between the regular season and playoffs. Now that he gets settled for a full season, what are realistic expectations for the 19-year-old, both in terms of his role and his impact?
I expect him to play a prominent role on the team. There's just no reason why he wouldn't. It's a team that needs skill in the top 6 and, more particularly on the second line. He's going to be able to provide that. Now, we'll see who he's playing with. That obviously would help him if he had someone, down the middle of the ice who was a little more of a force. But, beggars can't be choosers at times. But I would imagine Ivon Demadov is going to be a pretty significant point producer for this team. He should play on the first power play unit. He should get reps with good players. And we saw what he did in a small sample size offensively, super gifted. You'll have to live with some of the mistakes that he's going to make away from the puck, but that's part of the growing pains of a young player who comes over from Russia. I watch him play, and I see Kirill Kaprizov. So he's just starting his journey. If he can turn into some kind of variation of what Kirill Kaprizov is for the Minnesota Wild, not saying it happens this year, but if he takes steps towards that, Montreal Canadiens fans should be pretty happy, and they'll see a pretty electric player playing every night for their team.
That would be incredible. And speaking, Frankie, of expectations, Lane Hutson blew through all of his last season by posting 66 points as a rookie. No defenseman had done that since the 80s. What are you looking for as the next steps for Hutson's evolution?
So he grew so much last season, where early on in the year, Jermaine, it felt like he had to be the hero or hit a home run every time he touched the puck. And listen, he would make some unbelievable plays, but there were also some mistakes that went with that. As the season went on, it looked like Lane Hudson really realized that it doesn't have to be a home run every single time. It doesn't have to be a super significant play every single time. And as time went on, he had those moments where he could make the spectacular play, but he learned when to live to fight another day. And so now going into year 2 for him, I expect a lot of the same and maybe a little bit of growth defensively. I'm not sure how much more growth you're going to get offensively. He really sees the game well. He knows how to draw players in and be deceptive with the puck. He's good in his own zone at doing it. He's good at the offensive blue line at doing it. He's great in transition. There's probably going to be a little more of a learning curve defensively because of the minutes that he's going to play, and he's going to do well. He's one of those guys that just simply does well at everything he does. I would expect him to put up big numbers again. The one challenge that he's going to face is what happens when players figure you out. But I would say this, he just went through a whole NHL season where no one could really figure him out. We'll see if it happens in year 2, but he's got plenty of tricks up his sleeve to keep deceiving players that attack him.
The Habs have increased their point total for 3 straight seasons now. To do it again next year, they'll have to finish with 92 points or more.